1800 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Prime Minister has directed to cut down the administrative cost incurred during the procurement, transmission and storage process of wheat. The Election Commission of Pakistan has announced the schedule of the Senate elections to be held on the 3rd of next month. Pakistan today conducted a successful training launch of Babur cruise missile with a range of 450 kilometers. The Foreign Minister has asked all the Pakistani envoys to the European countries to broaden mutually beneficial trade and economic partnerships with the European Union. Presidents of the United States and China have agreed to jointly safeguard peace and stability in the Asia-Pacific region and make contributions to promote peace in the world. In the first T20 of the three-match series against Pakistan in Lahore, South Africa has won the toss and elected to field. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Imran Khan has directed the Finance Minister to suggest ways to cut down the administrative costs being incurred during procurement, transmission and storage process of wheat. Presiding over a meeting in Islamabad today, he also directed to review the existing business model related to the procurement of wheat. The meeting decided to set the grinding ratio of wheat by 80:20 to be ensured by the provincial governments. The meeting was informed that the Punjab is incurring a cost of 510 rupees per 40 kilograms of wheat in lieu of various administrative charges including procurement, transmission and storage. The Chief Secretary Punjab and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa briefed the Prime Minister about the existing regulatory mechanisms of the provinces for the establishment of fruit and vegetable markets. The Chief Secretary Khyber Pakhtunkhwa informed that 65 Kisan markets have been established in the province. The Election Commission of Pakistan has announced that Senate elections will be held on the 3rd of next month. According to a notification issued by the Election Commission of Pakistan, nomination papers will be received on the 12th and 13th of this month, while scrutiny of nomination papers will be conducted from the 15th to the 16th of this month. Appeals against acceptance or rejection of nomination papers will be received on the 17th and 18th of this month, and these appeals will be disposed of by the tribunal on the 19th and 20th of this month. The government has announced a 25% ad hoc allowance for all the federal employees of basic pay scale 1 to 19. This was announced by the Minister for Defence Parvez Khattak, Interior Minister Sheikh Rashid Ahmed and the Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs Ali Muhammad Khan at a news conference in Islamabad today. Parvez Khattak said the notification of the ad hoc allowance will be issued today and this allowance will continue till the recommendations of the Pay and Pension Commission. He said the provincial governments will also be recommended to provide the ad hoc allowance to their employees. In his remarks, the Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs Ali Muhammad Khan said the issue of disparities in the salaries of employees of different organizations will be addressed. Pakistan today conducted a successful training launch of Babur cruise missile with a range of 450 kilometers. According to ISPR, Babur cruise missile is capable of engaging targets at land and sea with high precision. The missile was launched from a state-of-the-art multi-tube missile launch vehicle. The President Dr. Arif Alvi, Prime Minister Imran Khan, the Chairman Joint Chiefs of Staff Committee and the Services Chief have congratulated the participating troops on the conduct of successful training launch of the missile. The Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi has asked all the Pakistani envoys to the European countries to cultivate and broaden mutually beneficial trade and economic partnerships with the European Union. Speaking at a virtual meeting of the envoys today, he also emphasized on the growing importance of geoeconomics in international politics. The Foreign Minister said our focus should be on key goals of trade promotion, financial inflows, investments, remittances, tourism and technology transfer. The foreign minister appreciated the increased inflow of investment from Europe to Pakistan and instructed the envoys to identify and address the bottlenecks and hurdles that hinder expansion of economic relations between the two sides. The President, Dr. Arif Alvi, has underscored the need for exempting the electric wheelchairs, artificial limbs, and other accessories from customs duty in order to facilitate the differently abled people. He expressed his observation at a briefing given to him by the Ministry of Human Rights in Islamabad today. He also emphasized the need for skills development of differently abled persons and ensuring implementation of jobs quota for them. This is Radio Pakistan. Pakistan has strongly rejected the false Indian claims in the United Nations Security Council about continuing terrorist activities from safe havens in Pakistan and questioned India's impartiality as head of the 15-member body's Taliban committee. In a series of tweets, Pakistan's permanent representative to the United Nations, Munir Akram, said India's statement in the United Nations Security Council briefing is a reflection of its deep frustration at its inability to distort the United Nations reports and failure of its propaganda and disinformation campaign against Pakistan. He said, contrary to the Indian allegations, the recent United Nations report validates Pakistan's actions against all terrorist groups. Munir Akram said the Indian statement is also a clear manifestation of its role as a spoiler in the ongoing peace process in Afghanistan. The Foreign Office spokesperson Zahid Hafiz Chaudhry has said, "We are disappointed to note the reference to Jammu and Kashmir in the American State Department of State's tweet regarding the resumption of 4G mobile internet in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir." In a statement, he said the reference is inconsistent with the disputed status of Jammu and Kashmir as recognized by numerous United Nations Security Council resolutions and in the international community. The spokesperson said Jammu and Kashmir is one of the oldest items on the agenda of the United Nations Security Council, which remains unresolved because of India's intransigence and unwillingness to implement the relevant United Nations Security Council resolutions. The 37th martyrdom anniversary of prominent Kashmiri leader Muhammad Maqbool Bhatt was observed today on both sides of the line of control, with a renewed pledge to continue the struggle till the realization of inalienable right to self-determination. In the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, most of the shops, fuel stations and other business establishments were shut while the public transport was largely off the road during the strike. Muhammad Maqbool Bhatt was hanged in New Delhi's Tihar jail on this day in 1984 for his active role in pro-freedom activities and was buried in the jail premises. Hurriyat leaders and organizations, including All Parties Hurriyat Conference, in the statement in Srinagar, while paying tributes to Muhammad Maqbool Bhatt, said martyrs like him are symbols of Kashmiri's resistance against the Indian illegal occupation. The American President Joe Biden made a telephonic call to Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping, marking an end to weeks of silence between the two leaders. Both the presidents exchanged views on China-US relations and major international and regional issues. The Chinese president said the two countries should make joint efforts to cement their ties following the spirit of no conflict, no confrontation, mutual respect, and win-win cooperation. India and China have agreed to pull back their troops from the disputed Himalayan lake area. The Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh told the Parliament that the accord has been reached after several rounds of talks between the military commanders of both the countries. And now cricket. In the first T20 of the three-match series against South Africa at the Gaddafi Stadium in Lahore, Pakistan were 4 runs for the loss of 1 wicket in the first over a short while ago. Earlier, South Africa won the toss and elected to field. And finally, the weather. Cold and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country, while very cold conditions are likely in Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Kashmir, Gilgit-Baltistan and North Balochistan during the next 12 hours. Fog is likely in a few plain areas of the Punjab during morning hours. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News.